Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be solving an electricity billing problem. So let's just get straight into the video. So let me start by reading the question. Question is, the electricity accounts of residents in a very small town are calculated as follows. If 500 units or less are used, the cost is 2 cents per unit. If more than 500 but no more than 1000 units are used, the cost is $10 for the first 500 units, then 5 cents for every unit in excess of 500. If more than 1000 units are used, the cost is $35 for the first 1000 units plus 10 cents for every unit in excess of 1000. In addition, a basic service fee of $5 is charged no matter how much electricity is used. Write a program which reads the name and the consumption of the following users from an external file and display the name, consumption, and total charge for each user. So down here, I have written the steps we are going to take. We're going to follow to solve this question. The first thing is to create an external file with the data we have here in the question, which is number one, Ahmed, AB 200, Baker CD 500, and so on. So the next step is to define our variables. We define our various variables like the basic service fee, the name of the users, the consumption value, their the total charge of each user. Then we're going to read that data from the external file, then read it into the Fortran program. The next thing we're going to do is to implement our conditionals. These are our conditionals here. The if statement of if 500 is less, our conditional statements here that if 500 is less, if more than 500 but no more than 1000 is used. Then the last one is this one. We have three conditional statements. Here. Then next thing we're going to do is to perform our arithmetic operations. Our arithmetic operations are the operations we're going to do. Like, for instance, here it said if 500 units or less is used, that the cost is 2 cents per unit. Let's say Ahmed used 200 units here. Just multiply that 2 by 200 units because it's 2 cents per unit. So we'll do all those additions, the subtraction, the multiplication, and every other arithmetic operation inside our conditional statements. Then we'll have to print out. The last thing we're going to do is print out the requested format. The requested format is, you wrote it here, write a program which, okay, then and display the name, consumption, and total charge for each user. That's the requested format for our output. So let's get started by going into VS Code. Then I already created my Fortran file, which is electricity program 2.f90. That's my Fortran program. Then also I already created my text file, my external file, which is, I already have the data inside here already, so you can take a good look on how I place this in. I placed the names of the users in quotation marks to identify them or signify them as characters, while other values are placed there as integers. You can see separated them with a comma also, don't forget. So let's go back. Remember, our text file is going to be inside our Fortran folder, so as to allow ease of accessing that external file within the folder or from the Fortran program. So let's go back into our Fortran program. So we'll create a program. First thing, I'm going to call it electric program. The first thing we're going to do from our list here is to create an external file. Let me tick that. We've done this. We've done the external file. Then define our variables. So to define our variables, we know that we have names, consumptions of the following users. That's our, let me use another color. Yeah. So let me just use blue. We know we have the names. We have the names here. We have the consumption of the following users from an external file. Sorry, just have the consumption of the following users, and we have basic service fee of $5 as a constant. What else do we have? So let me just define those variables there before we move on to the conversion. So for our name, we know our name is going to be in the character format. Don't forget, we're going to put the length of the character. I'm going to put 20 there. I know that 20 is enough, is an enough space for, is enough space for this the name of each user to enter. So I know that Ahmed, like now, Ahmed AB is not up to 20 characters, but 20 character is a safe number for me to save those names. So let me just call it name. Next thing is integer. I'm going to say consumption value. Then also our basic service fee. I'm going to call it BSF as basic service fee. I'm going to give it $5. Remember, because it is a constant here, $5. Also, we also have the total charge of each user. We're going to return that in our output. So for total charge, I'm going to put it as real, as a real data type. I'm putting it as a real data type because we can end up with a value with decimal numbers, and those decimal values are very important when we're calculating something in dollars and cents. Total charge. So let me go back to the question. So we've defined our variables. Let me tick that. So next step is to read our data from the external file. To read our data from the external file, we know that our external file contains multi-line data. Sorry, which means that there are multiple lines in the file. So to read this the whole data that is inside our file, we're going to employ or use a do loop to iterate over every single line. So let me just create a do loop. So let me create a comment here so that you understand. Iterating over every line the external file. I'm going to show you the difference between when I place it inside this do loop and when I just do it outside the do loop, so you understand what I mean by when we employ the do loop to iterate over everything. So we're going to start from the beginning of our line. We have 5 lines in our external file from 1 to 5, so that will be our values for start to end. Then okay, before I put this do loop, let me just show you how it will come out if I just read from if I just read from if I just let me show you how it will come out if I just read it in a single line. Let me show you how to come out if I just read it without employing the do loop. So before we read, we have to open the file first. Don't forget, we have to open the file. I have to open. I'm going to give it 1, assign it 1 as, so we can use it to read it. Then I'm going to say the file name. File name is name my file electricity users .txt. Good. Then I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the electricity users.txt. Then from that, I'm going to read the name and the consumption value. So let's see. So let's see how that comes up. So I'm going to write name, comma, consumption value. Then I'm going to print it out to see the result. So when I save it and let's run it, and we'll see what we get. Yes, you can see that from here we're getting just the first value of our text file, which is Ahmed AB200, which is expected because this, the way we wrote this program, we're just telling it to read the first line of the data. But when I put this into our do loop, okay, let me just copy this and uncomment this. I just put it into our do loop. You'll see what it will print out. Okay, I've not called I here. I as an integer is our iterator counter. So let me run it. You can see our result is giving us every data, or all the data we have, all the lines we have in our text file. You can see from Ahmed AB to Smith QG at 1500. So that's good, and we're moving on. So we've read every name and consumption file in the value. So let's go back to our notepad and let me tick this out. We've done this. Next step is to implement our conditional statements. So to implement our conditional statements, we have to create logical data types. We have to assign logical data types to some variables. So we know that we have 3 logical data types. So I'm going to create 3 variables which will be carrying that, which will perform that job. So 2, 3. So inside here, I'm going to write condition 1 is equals to so condition 1 is what? First condition is if 500 units or less are used, which is telling us that if the consumption value of these users is less or equals to 500 units. So let's just put that into code. So if consumption value is lesser than or equals to, sorry, that's greater than, is lesser than or equals to 500. So that's condition 1. Condition 2 is equals to, second condition is if more than 500 but not more than 1000 units are used. That's telling us that if greater than 500 but not more than 1000, that's if greater than 500, if our consumption value is greater than 500 but it is no more than 1000, which means it is lesser than or equals to 1000. So consumption value, I'm going to put this first in a bracket. Consumption value is greater than 500 dots, and if it has to satisfy those 2 conditions before condition 2 can return true. And if consumption value is also lesser or equals to 1000. Now condition 3 is equals to, last condition is if more than 1000 units are used. Good. If consumption value is greater than 1000. Very good. So we've created our three conditionals. So let me tick that off. But we've not implemented it yet. So let's implement those conditional statements before we tick that off. So the first thing we're going to do is create an if block. Say an if block with the condition. For the first condition, condition 1. Say if condition 1 then good. Let's just skip that. Move to the next line. Else if condition 2 then skip to the next line. Then we'll say else if another else if statement condition 3. I'll say then. So what this means is that if condition 1 is this, we're going to do what is inside this block. But if condition 1 doesn't satisfy, or if the values does not satisfy condition 1, we move on to this condition 2. If it satisfies the condition 2, we're going to move on to we're going to do what is inside this condition 2 block. But if it doesn't satisfy what is inside condition 1 and condition 2, we're going to move on to condition 3. So let's just do it like that. So when I start putting in the arithmetic operations, you will be able to understand what I just did here clearly. So let's move on. So we've implemented it. So let me just take this off as well. Next thing is to perform our arithmetic operations. So for the first condition, we know that if 500 units or less are used, the cost is 2 cents per unit. Remember, per unit, 2 cents per unit. And we know that 100 cents is equal to $1. So to prevent a clash of units, we have of currencies. To prevent a clash of units, we have dollars here, and we also have cents here. And we know that 100 cents is equals to $1. So what will 2 cents be equals to? So what will 2 cents be equals to? That will be equals to x. Okay, 100x is equals to 2. So x is equals to 2 over 100. I know 2 over 100 is equals to 0.02. So $0.202. So 2 cents is equals to $0.02. So what we're going to do is, if 500 unit or less are used, the cost is 2 cents per unit. So we're going to multiply the units if it is within the range of 0 to 500 by $0.02. Then we're going to remember we have something here. In addition, a basic service fee of $5 is charged no matter how much electricity is used. So let's implement this so that you'll be able to understand it better. So for condition 1, which is if the consumption value is lesser than or equals to 500, we'll say initial charge. Let's call initial charge is equals to, I'm going to define initial charge as well. I've not yet defined initial charge. I'm going to define initial charge as a real number. To paste it here. Initial charge is equals to consumption value times 0.02. Remember, it's in the question if the cost is 2 cents per unit. That means for every unit $0.02 is charged. Then let's do the addition. What I'm going to say, the total charge is equals to initial charge plus BSF, which is the basic service fee, which we have here. So that's it. Else if condition 1 doesn't satisfy, we're going to move to condition 2. So what does condition 2 have in its arithmetic operation? So if more than 500 but not more than 1000 units are used, the cost is $10 for the first 500 units. $10 for the first 500 units. So that means that if consumption value is greater than 500, condition 2 is telling us that if consumption for the 10 dollars for the first 500 units, and then 5 cents for every unit in excess. 5 cents is equals to $0.05. So the first thing we're going to calculate here is the excess that we have. So I'm going to call it excess con value is equals to consumption value minus 500. I'm going to define this excess con value as an integer. So the excess con value is the consumption value minus 500, because for every 500, for the first 500 units, is going to charge $10, and then excess is going to start multiplying it per unit. So our initial cost or initial charge is equals to, remember they said, if, let's read this statement again, if more than 500 but not more than 10,000 units, not more than 1000 units are used, the cost is $10 for the first 500 units. That means if this condition activates, they are automatically going to have a charge of $10 because they have used 500 units for the first 500 units. So let's just put 10. I'm going to put this 10 in a bracket because we might perform another operation. So this 10 plus, remember they might have excess con value, like for instance this mine here, SOS SOP SA, he already has more than 500 units in his more than 500 units that he has consumed. So what the program is going to do is going to separate this to 500 and 200. So for this first 500 is going to charge $10. Then for this 200, this excess 200 that he has, remember they said then 5 cents for every unit, or $0.05 for every unit in excess of 500. That means this 200 is going to be multiplied by 0.05 to get our cost for this one. So let's implement it here. So inside another bracket, when you say excess con value times 0.05, now be our initial charge. Now our total charge is going to be equals to initial charge plus the BSF. So moving on to condition 3, which states that consumption value is greater than 1000. So if more than 1000 units are used, the cost is $35 for the first 1000 units plus 10 cents for every unit in excess of 1000. So it is something similar to what happened in this first condition. So what it's trying to say is that if the person used more than 1000 units, so like this last person used more than 1000 units, it's going to separate it into 1000 and 500. Then for this first 1000, we're going to collect, the person already has a charge of automatically has a charge of $35 already for the first 1000 units. Then we're going to charge 10 cents, which is 10 divided by 100, which is 0.1, which is 0.1. Which is like $0.1 on every unit that is in excess of 1000. That will be 500 times 0.1, to get, and then we'll add both of them together to get our initial charge. So let's do that. Firstly, we have to calculate the excess con value that, like we did in the upper heading, minus 1000. Remember, for the first 1000 units, then initial charge is going to be equal to 12 brackets 35 first, because the person already automatically has a charge of $35 already. We're going to add it with the excess con value times 0.1, which is 10 cents. Then for our total charge is going to be equal to the initial charge rather, plus the BSF. Yes, so I think that is all for the arithmetic operations. Then the last thing we have to do is print out the requested format. So let me do that. Let's do that. A requested format is it's to display the name, the consumption and the total charge for each user. So thing is, we print out the name, the consumption value, and the total charge. We'll do that in all cases. So we'll just copy and paste them into the blocks. So let's run it and see what we will get. Running it, we have Ahmed 200, his value is $9. Baker at 500, that is this. Also Smith's Q, his units, consumption units is this, and value is this. So to make it more clear or more readable as an output, we're going to put it out. We're going to put like an header above our do loop. So I'm going to put name. I'm going to space it out because of the space here. Put a space there. Then next thing, we're going to put a consumption. We're going to put consumption value. We're going to put consumption value or consumption in units. Then also then total charge in dollars. So let me save that and see how it comes out. So yes, we have the name. Let me expand this here so you can see we have the name as Ahmed and everything. We have consumption unit and total charge in dollars. So I hope that was very helpful. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any aspect in this video that you do not fully understand, please let me know in the comment section below. I'll be very happy to explain more. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, bye.